Matt Smith lands key role in Star Wars Episode 9. That's the headline in this week's Force Friday show. And joining me as ever is Stephen to discuss all things Star Wars. There's been a couple of casting announcements, Stephen, over the last week. This is the second. We'll get into the other one after this. What the hell do you make of Matt Smith landing a key role in Star Wars? When I heard he was joining, I thought it would be a minor role, like an Unkar Plutt or a Stormtrooper or something, but no, it's a key role.
Yeah, pick this up in theguardian.com, John. The Crown actor will feature in the latest instalment of the sci-fi franchise, according to reports. And you're right, this is going to be a prominent role for Matt Smith, who is most famously over here in the television series The Crown, and more famously in Doctor Who as the Doctor. Yeah, when I first saw the headline of this, my initial reaction was that he was probably going to get a role similar to his role in Terminator Genesis. A very forgettable role. The actual film itself was very forgettable, to be honest with you, but he's a terrific actor. I think playing the Doctor on the back of David Tennant, at that point I think a lot of people thought David Tennant was the best Doctor they've seen. That's debatable, but Matt Smith carried that on tremendously, added his own flair and characteristics to the Doctor role, and he carried this on in The Crown, playing the Duke of Edinburgh, and it just shows the guy's versatility to play very different roles. And yeah, I mean, the role in 2015 Terminator Genesis was, I think it was supposed to be that little ginger kid that was John Connor's friend from Terminator 2, and this was a continuation of that character, but it wasn't very memorable, to be honest with you. But this news coming in, it does really open up the possibilities of what J.J. Abrams wants him in this final film of the sequel trilogy. It really does open up the doors, whether or not a lot of people will assume that he will take the position of one of the bad guys because he's got a British accent, and all British accent people are evil. Certainly is the case in the old Star Wars movies anyway. But
Dominic Monaghan says as well, Stephen.
Yeah, and it'll be very interesting, you know, but at this stage it's very unclear what he's going to be doing in this movie. Very similar to when Benicio del Toro was cast as well. It really did open up the floodgates and the possibilities of where that actor could fit into the Star Wars universe. A lot of people predicted that he could be Thrawn, but it is very interesting. You know, I'm a fan of Matt Smith, and I'm always glad to see actors that I like, you know, appearing in films that I like. Richard D. Grant is another one. Again, a British accent. He must be a bad guy, but it's very interesting.
Yes, it's very interesting, and as you did say, he's an incredibly talented chap. I did enjoy his Doctor Who, probably one of my favourites. Not quite my favourite, I still think David Tennant and maybe even Peter Capaldi just edge him out, but only just. It's a very close thing between those three. But as you did say, he worked most recently on The Crown. The fact that he has played the Duke of Edinburgh and he's been frequenting the palaces of England, that would suggest to me that he's tailor-made to go into a villainous role in Star Wars, because, as we do know, Buckingham Palace and every other palace that's been frequented by the English royals, it's a hive of scum and villainy and scoundrels. So that's just my opinion, mind you. Some people may disagree, but screw them. But in terms of possibilities, Stephen, I've been reading a few different articles who do go into some possibilities for the character itself that he could be playing. There's a few, as you did mention, Benicio del Toro came on for The Last Jedi. The usual names were flung in there, the likes of Admiral Thrawn, and maybe he could be playing a Sith Lord or just a regular old Sith guy who's maybe an underling of Kylo. Don't know how that can be possible, because Kylo was a bit of an underling himself, who's now been thrust into the power role after murdering poor old Snoke. I don't think that's 3 words you'd ever heard here being associated with Snoke, poor old Snoke. But I'll get into the possibilities of what he could be playing, Stephen. They suggest maybe a member of the Knights of Ren, because as we do know, these guys have still not been thrust into the spotlight throughout this sequel trilogy. We get a little teasing insight into what they could be about in that premonition flashback sequence when Rey touched the lightsaber in Maz Kanata's castle. So he could be a Knight of Ren. He could be one of Kylo Ren's personal hit squad, and this is them coming into prominence and coming up against Rey and a whole host of maybe potential Force ghosts. Maybe having an influence on proceedings. We spoke about that before we came on, Stephen. The other one, again, Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's getting thrust in there. He could be playing Grand Admiral Thrawn, who is a calculating and cold, authoritative figure who's also very soft-spoken though and has a love for culture and art. These are things that could maybe play into Smith's ability to blend goofiness and softness with all deadly seriousness. So that's a real possibility. It could be playing him. Then again, it might be Richard E. Grant that's playing him, or he might not even be in the film at all. The other possibility, you'll love this, is a grown-up broom kid. Maybe he's broom kid grown up. Maybe we've skipped 15 years into the future and he's much older now. And he's getting better hair now because his hair was absolute shite in The Last Jedi. But I'll give him a buy. He was living in a pen of one of those horrendous horse creatures on Canto Bight, so who knows, that's a possibility. And then I go into another article, and I'm bringing these up, Stephen, because I want to get your insight into what one you would like, or what you think of these. Maybe he's an ace TIE fighter pilot. We've got Poe Dameron on the Resistance side, who's an ace X-Wing pilot. Maybe we're going to see the TIE fighter sides, and we'll get to see an ace TIE fighter pilot. This is a guy that rose to prominence piloting the TARDIS, so he's got previous for it. Or maybe he could be a New Republic power player, Stephen, with obviously the hustling and bustling for power, with the Republic in a bit of a state of disarray after Starkiller Base pulverised all the planets. Maybe he's a political mover and shaker. I'll slowly round this up because I'm getting on a little bit here, but the other two that catch my eye is love interest for Rey. Don't know what the hell he could be. He could be anything. He could be an alien, CGI. That's another possibility. And he's a love interest for Rey. We've certainly had just about every sexuality type fleshed out in Star Wars. We had pansexuality and Solo, a Star Wars story with obviously Lando loving robots. Maybe he's a CGI character, alien, and Rey loves him. And the final one is probably the one that would come to mind immediately. Sinister First Order officer, as you did say before I came in and went off for about 5 minutes. English characters, speaking characters, tend to be white male English characters tend to be thrust into the villainous roles and positions of power within, like the officers, regiments, and the First Order, and even the Empire that preceded it. So I'll go through them briefly, Stephen, and get your thoughts. What one do you think? Sinister First Order officer, love interest for Rey, maybe a CGI alien, New Republic power player, ace TIE fighter pilot, Thrawn, grown-up broom boy, or a member of the Knights of Ren. Which one would you like to see?
I'll probably say the ones that I don't think he'll be first, John. He's definitely not going to be Thrawn. No. Definitely not. I think that's got to be put to bed once and for all. Pilot can handle a TARDIS, so it's a possibility. I think he's going to be an officer for the First Order. I do, and that's not just the sort of stereotypical jump I'm making here because of his accent. He's an actor, he can put any accent on it. Look at John Boyega. Yeah. He is as London as they come. And yeah, the other thing as well, it could, just going back to the sort of pilot, I don't think they'll put him in that kind of role. I think that's been pigeonholed for Poe Dameron. Yeah. The only way that I would see him being a pilot for the Resistance would be in a cameo, which it clearly isn't. It's a key role. It kind of springs to mind John Altman's appearance in Return of the Jedi. John Altman as nasty Nick Cotton from EastEnders. He had a cameo apparently, and probably said that as well, and that's how the scene was cut from the final cut. But I think probably that is the most obvious role as an officer of the First Order. But it all depends. It could be some kind of representative for the Republic. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll come in and give my thoughts on what I think's most likely. I do agree. I don't think we're going to see him playing Thrawn, because it's not a character that I could see him suiting. As I did say, he has got the sensibilities, the ruthlessness. He can play a balance of ruthlessness and seriousness with the goofiness and the softer side of things, which could work in, but I don't see it being Thrawn. If it was to be any of the new guys coming in, maybe playing Thrawn, I would think Richard E. Grant would be the one to be doing that. I don't think he'll be Knights of Ren. Not that I don't think the Knights of Ren will come in, but I don't think they'll focus on them as a prominent role. It's going to be Kylo Ren and these guys in the background just bailing them out or maybe helping them in a big action sequence. So I don't think he'll be a Knight of Ren member. I don't think he'll be Broom Boy growing up, because he'll not touch that with a barge pole after Last Jedi. That is a no-no. I don't think he'll be a love interest for Ray, nor do I think he'll be playing a CG character. You don't get a guy like this on with his incredible head of hair and put him into a CG role. It's not going to work. What I do think he'll be is, I think he'll either be a first order officer, as you did say, because he's English and he's white and he's a male, so it just works. And just the fact that the General Hux was made a fool in that film, I think you could see a power play going on there to get underneath Kylo Ren as the right hand man. As we know, Kylo doesn't like General Hux anyway. He slaps him down. There's a bit of a bickering thing going on between those two, so he could play a first order officer. I think that's very
bickering.
Yeah, bickering. Yeah.
I remember when Kylo Ren was unconscious,
Yeah,
he was ready to do him in, but
yeah, he was ready to kill him, Stephen. And you remember prior to that when General Hux was coming out of Snoke's throne room, and he says they've got him dangling on a piece of string. He gave a little sneering look to Kylo. That was one of my favourite moments. So I think he could be a first order officer. Failing that, he could be quite a big player in the Resistance or the Republic, coming in to fill in for Leia. I mean, we're seeing Leia coming back through archive footage, but I think you may be restricted with what you can do. So I think she could maybe appoint Matt Smith's character as a prominent figure within the Republic to go on and lead it going forward, if indeed she's not going to appoint Poe, or Poe isn't going to take or fill the gap or the shoes of Princess Leia. And I think we've seen in that first shot, the behind the scenes, that Poe appears to be on the Millennium Falcon with Finn. That may just be at the beginning, but I doubt it. I think he may be getting off and having a more hands-on approach. He's a fighter pilot, that's what he does. I've always wanted to see him being the guy that takes on the Millennium Falcon in the place of Han. So I could see him being either a first order officer or a prominent figure of the Resistance Republic going forward. But I'm just glad to see they've got the guy in a prominent role. It's not something I expected, because Star Wars has always been taking lesser peripheral actors and bring them in, and then they find their way in the acting business after it. The likes of Mark Hamill, even Harrison Ford, he wasn't a big name before Star Wars. You usually only have a couple of prominent figures who are already well known and recognisable faces scattered throughout, the likes of Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor and so on. So I don't think I'm surprised that they've brought him in, but I'm glad they brought him in, because as I did say, he's a very talented guy. It's good news. I loved his Doctor Who, and he's, as you touched upon, as I done a little joke about, he did play the Duke of Edinburgh to very good effect in The Crown, which is a fantastic series. So good news all round.
We're just going to move on, John, to our next piece of news, very similar to the Matt Smith news. This is Dominic Monaghan, who joins J.J. Abrams in episode 9. This is another piece of news that's coming in. We picked this up on IGN News earlier this week. Doesn't say how prominent a role that Monaghan's going to have in this. Personally, I think it's just going to be very similar to, I can't remember the chap's name, the bearded chap who played a pilot in The Force Awakens. One of J.J. Abrams' sort of reliable go-tos, certainly in Dominic Monaghan. He's a talented actor anyway. Loved him in his role as Merry in Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's what I know him most famously for. And, he obviously was in the television series Lost, which J.J. Abrams produced. Good news, John?
Yes, he's a fairly decent actor, Steve. I do recall him more from The Lord of the Rings as well. He was very good as Merry Addock Brandybuck. That's a mouthful. As you can tell, I'm a very big Tolkien fan. Read all the books. What a sado that I am. But yes, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this too. I don't know if he is going to have as prominent or key a role as Matt Smith that we were just speaking about. I think his role may be a little bit more scaled back. Just it's basically done as a little favour from JJ. I don't want to say a favour, as in he's patting him in the head. There you go, I'll give you a job, Dominic. No, but I think he's worked with him before, and as you did say, Stephen, he's a very solid actor. He comes in, he does a steady job. So I think it'll be a scaled back role, but what the hell could they be playing in this? I've not dug out articles this time. You've got me unprepared, Stephen. Clearly I don't prepare before these shows because I'm not professional at all. But roles, I could see him maybe playing a Knights of Ren figure here. I think most people would shoehorn him into the Goody Two Shoes side. But I think he could maybe play a Knight of Ren. I believe it's Kerry Russell was one of the other actresses that came on. Apparently she's going to have a heavy action-based role, and they were certainly saying she could be a Knight of Ren. Certainly, maybe Dominic could come in and play a Knight of Ren. Maybe he could play a CG alien. As I said before, he could maybe play a small alien in live action with a suit on, like Simon Pegg done, but more mobile. not a big fat waste of space counting tokens on Jakku. So I don't know what the hell they could do with him. I just know he's a very good actor, and I'm pleased that they're fleshing out more of the cast and they're bringing more people on. I'm concerned that they're bringing maybe a little bit too much on, because certainly they've not done enough for me to flesh out and give the characters that they introduced in The Force Awakens a decent enough arc. I think they should maybe focus on finishing their arc. The likes of Rey, Poe, Finn's been butchered, and they could finish his arc a bit better. Maybe redeem him from The Last Jedi. So I'm concerned they maybe adding too much in, but listen, you bring this guy in, he's a very good and talented actor, as I did say. I'm repeating myself again and again and again. In terms of what role he could be playing, I do think it's going to be scaled back, and as I did say, maybe the Knights of Ren a small alien role or something, because he did play a Hobbit.
Yeah, I mean, the article itself, John, it's really just an announcement that he's going to have some kind of...
He's not playing Ray's mum though, Stephen, is he? Just read that in an article.
No, I think it's just one of these go-to actors that directors usually go... I'm not going to compare him to Clint Howard here, because he's certainly not Clint Howard, but in that vein, you know, it's just he's got a role to play, and you know, he's a guy that probably sprung to J.J. Abrams' mind. I don't think he's going to have a prominent role. In fact, a lot of these announcements, I think, are going to just be secondary characters. It's a lot of people, a lot of actors will want to be part of this final part of this saga. So I think they'll take any sort of small or big role, whatever, you know, is available. And I think Dominic Monaghan will perhaps play some kind of a cameo. I think it'll be slightly more than what Simon Pegg got. Certainly appearing on screen anyway. I don't think we're going to have Dominic Monaghan in prosthetics and we don't know who it is. I don't think it's going to be like that. Like, the Daniel Craig one is a stormtrooper. He's
certainly too short to play a stormtrooper.
Yeah, I mean, but he is the right height. If the rumours are that we're going back to Endor, he could be could be portraying an Ewok, but a blinking Ewok. But who knows?
Yeah, he could play an Ewok scene. He's certainly short enough. That's maybe a little bit too tall. Maybe being harsh on him there. I think he's about 5'6". That's certainly above the likes of Warwick Davis anyway. I've been looking through a little article as you were talking there, Stephen, and another possibility that they're saying it could be, obviously Kylo says to Rey at the end of The Last Jedi, your parents were basically wasters, they were drunks, and they're buried in a pauper's grave on Jakku, so maybe we'll get another flashback, and we'll see Rey's father, and he's playing her deadbeat father, this article says. Who knows, the possibilities are endless. He's certainly not playing Thrawn. Put a hashtags going around saying Dominic for Thrawn, it ain't going to happen. He's too short, he's not got the facial structure for it for me, and he's not got the hair for it, so that ain't happening. But yes, I've not got much more to add to that, Stephen. I'm gibbering on endlessly. We're going to move on to the next topic, and it's all about Rian Johnson's new trilogy. Will it or will it not happen? The headline is, it's rumoured to be in trouble. I don't know, it might be Mike Zero flying this out, in which case take it with a very large pinch of salt, because the guy is not to be trusted.
We said that we weren't going to mention his name, John. Sources say this anyway, but yeah, this has been covered in a few websites over the past week in regards to Rian Johnson's upcoming trilogy. It must have been a bit announced. I think it was just before the release of The Last Jedi that he was getting this new trilogy, John. This certainly gave us a lot of hope for The Last Jedi and where we were going to go with that. I know a lot of people since The Last Jedi's release have really hated on the guy. I still think he's a talented filmmaker. I just don't think the Star Wars films, particularly the saga films, he should have been used in. I would have probably have given Rian Johnson the Star Wars trilogy, this one that he's supposedly working on, as a standalone thing anyway, and maybe flesh it out over one film and see how it goes. I certainly wouldn't have been announcing a trilogy of films before we got to see The Last Jedi. Very divisive piece of art The Last Jedi is. It's been talked to death now for the past 9 months since its release. I'm certainly in the camp that a lot of it was very disappointing, but still had some of the most memorable scenes you'll see in a Star Wars film as well. We've got to remember that. There was a lot of positives as well in it. But this report, it's all speculation and rumours, to be honest with you, John. The bigger question is, do I want to see a Rian Johnson trilogy? I don't think I do. And that's not because I don't think that he's capable of making one. I just don't think you give anyone a Star Wars trilogy, announce it, that you're giving a director a full set of Star Wars films. If they were going to do that, that's what they should have done with the saga films, 7, 8 and 9. I believe that they should have kept the one director throughout, certainly kept the same writers throughout. But who knows? I mean, there is a quote on this website. I think it's coming from the source himself. I'm not going to imitate his voice because I can't. But he's really saying this, we really don't know what's going on with Rian Johnson's involvement. The original concept and idea behind the trilogy seems to have been put in the trash right now, where it's riding on a blank canvas. 3 movies, 1 story, but it seems Rian Johnson will get at least 1 movie, which is either a spin-off or an open-ended film that may well warrant another 2 sequels from Lucasfilm. Well, this is exactly what I'm just saying. Yes. I think that would have been the best way to approach this. Don't give him The Last Jedi to begin with. Give him a standalone open-ended film and see where it takes us, because Rian Johnson, Brick and Looper were terrific movies, independent movies. That seems to be where he thrives. Giving him part 2 in this sequel trilogy, I didn't think it was a good move. But I will go back to when he was announced. I was very excited, so I was wrong. I just think, in hindsight, he shouldn't have been near it. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's an opinion that you're perfectly entitled to have, Stephen. It's an opinion that I kind of share. Because, as you did say, he's a very talented indie director. He has had success with some independent films, such as Brick and Looper, as you did say. Should he have been put into a big production like Star Wars Episode 8 in the middle of a sequel trilogy, where he has got a propensity for flinging in some contentious ideas? He said it himself 10 years ago or whatever. He would like 50% of his audience to despise his film and 50% to love it. I get what he was saying with it. I did speak about that previously. He'd rather have 50% absolutely love his film, 50% hate it, than have a large proportion in the middle just liking it. That's fair enough. I'd rather people love than hate my film as well. You don't want the middle ground. Some of the best films in the world are Marmite films, but it shouldn't be thrust into a Star Wars film which has got to tick all the boxes and bring in a wide range of people, and most importantly, connect with the fan base, the key demographic in your fan base. So to bring them in and to thrust in some dubious political themes in there, which get the back up of your key demographics, is not good business. But again, I've said it just about every week since we started doing the Force Friday show. I'm not the Lucasfilm president. Kathleen Kennedy is. She was clearly happy with these dubious political themes and getting thrust into the film, and that's why she gave him a trilogy after it and announced it, because she was delighted with what he had done. A sizable proportion of the fan base weren't, and this is playing into why we're seeing people maybe celebrating this news. I say news because it's see, the source is Mike Zero, and this guy has talking about propensity, he has a propensity for just making stuff up on the internet to get views, and he gets them, so fair play to him. The quote I actually agree with, incidentally. I do agree. He shouldn't have got a trilogy. What he's suggesting, or maybe doing, and I don't believe it, but what he's suggesting, I agree with. They should take the trilogy off him. They should give him one open-ended film to start with. If it's going to connect with audience members, go over well with the key demographics in the fan base, then fire away, give him more films. I suggested a few months back this very thing. Maybe give him the chance to outline the story of a trilogy. Let him create the first film, and then, as I said, if it connects, move on with it after that. I don't think Lucasfilm are going to do that, though. I think they have green-lighted a trilogy, and I think we're clutching at straws here. Certainly Mike is clutching at straws here, looking for views again. I don't believe it will happen. Kathleen Kennedy loves the guy. He's the only director she's not fell out with during the production, and we know why that is. So, sorry, as much as I'd like it to be true, I just don't believe it is true, because she loves Rian. Ryan's a golden boy. Yeah,
well, I think it all depends as well, John, if Kathleen Kennedy is still around. I mean, that all depends on that as well. You know, there's rumours going about, and I'm pretty sure Mike Zero's part of those rumours in regards to her position at Lucasfilm as well. But as I said, we try and make the Force Friday show not about speculation. We like to talk on facts here, but this was just something that kind of cropped up. It was very interesting, and despite, you know, what you might think of Mike Zero, I do agree with that quote, actually. I think he's hit the nail on the head there. I think he should have been given one movie, either one of the standalone films or some kind of random film, maybe, continuing stories of Broomboy, I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, the final thing I will add in to this topic, Stephen, because it's been very short and concise. We're in agreement with Mike, but Disney aren't going to do it anyway. The final thing I will throw in is that if they're curtailing all the standalones and they're halting them, then why the hell should they be continuing on with this trilogy? When this guy is the key reason why the fan base has boycotted a Star Wars story. Some parts of it I didn't, and it's a key reason why that box office performance was so low, and it's a key reason why they've then went on to halt the more interesting standalones such as Obi-Wan, the Criminal Underworld film, which would tie in with Boba Fett. So why the hell are they continuing on with this? The final thing I will say is that if they're halting these standalones, which are very interesting, then they should be halting this as well, and I do hope it's true, but it's not.
And we're just going to wrap up today's show, John, with a little, this is a little bit more light-hearted. This was a poster in regards to the upcoming Star Wars Resistance animated series. This is a poster that appeared on a variety of websites. We're picking this up on cbr.com. It's a very colourful, striking image.
Yes.
It's capturing the sort of the main characters of this series. Certainly BB-8's at the forefront of this. But I've got to say, I love the style of the artwork here. I love the colours, and it's it kind of sets the tone of what to come. Just it's got the title of Some Heroes Stick to the Plan, others just wing it. Certainly that was Poe Dameron's case in The Last Jedi. But it's a great capture there. It's very striking, and certainly it does appeal to me as a Star Wars fan. I'm looking forward to this series. As much as I liked Rebels and the Clone Wars, I certainly prefer this style of animation.
Yes, I like it as well, Stephen. As you did say, it's very striking, very colourful, very distinct art style. It's very much like a comic book art style, really. Yeah. I enjoy it. It's got that hint of anime in there. As you did say, it's got all the prominent characters we're going to be seeing in the series, front and centre, BB-8. And then you've got Kaz, I believe it is, in the behind, with his green jacket on. It continues the theme that's been seen throughout all of Star Wars since 1977, and that we have fantastic jackets on the leading protagonists. Luke had it in Empire Strikes Back. Han had it. No, that creamy one Stephen had in the training sequence, that was class. The yellow one was horrendous at the end of A New Hope. That's why I said Empire Strikes Back. I struck that out of my mind. Han had it. Finn and Poe have had it. There's been a whole host of very cool jackets, and they're continuing in here. 2 very cool jackets. The black character's got a cool jacket. Kaz has got a cool jacket. The other 2 have got jumpsuits. Not so cool. But hey ho. I do like Kaz's colour choice as well. He's a man that likes green. He's got a green and gold ship. Not giving my allegiances away there at all. Very much my man. So I'll be keeping a keen eye on him. I've seen a few people bashing this series on Facebook. Star Wars, the official Star Wars page, shared this poster, and I looked at some of the comments, and you've got some of these, I'm going to call them arsedrags. That's a very Scottish terminology. Slagging it off and saying, oh dear, look at this is crap, this is ominous. Some people really need to lighten up, pull their heads out of their arses, and look forward to the new stuff coming out in Star Wars. You need to remember, 20 years ago, people didn't have this, man. So enjoy what we're getting. It's a very cool new concept. It's not replacing the Clone Wars or Rebels. We're getting a final episode or series of the Clone Wars. And this is just an additional little thing, and it's cool to me, and I like it.
This just sums up the current fan base at the moment, yes. John. They're actually nitpicking over an image that doesn't really say a lot. It captures the sort of mood of where this animation's going, yes. And that's it. Yep. That is it. You know, I don't know how you can bash it, I've got to be honest with you. The artwork's stunning. The colours are fantastic, very radiant, and I'm very interested in this character Kaz as well, to see what kind of character he is, whether he's going to be like a Han Solo or Poe Dameron type, or if he's going to be more like Ezra from Rebels. Who knows, but it does strike the imagination, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to see more of these images as the months roll on.
Yes, certainly. The final 2 things I will add is that you get those ships at the top as well, and that heavily hints at everything we're going to see. Ships, main characters, and they've got a hint of the prequel about them as well, the pod racers and stuff like that, and even the starfighter ships that Anakin and Obi-Wan piloted. Final thing I will add is that crazy little fish, googly-eyed thing in the hands of the alien, green alien in the background. That's interesting. I don't know what the hell that is. Looks like something straight out of a aquatic world. Maybe this is what the likes of Admiral Akbar snacked on in their spare time when they weren't getting blown through windows and not getting referenced at all for the rest of the film, or shouting it's a trap in their great moments. Maybe this is what they were eating, I don't know. But listen, I'm gibbering away here. It's an interesting little poster that gives us everything again that we would like to know about these characters. You see the main players, BB-8, ships, colourful, vibrant, art style. I love it. Some people don't. That's life. But that brings us to the end of this week's episode of the Force Friday Show, where we discuss all things Star Wars. We'd just like to thank you for listening to us once again, and we'll be back next Tuesday with Box Office Chat.
Remember guys, if you enjoyed that episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.